the recording. And I'm Dawn Schmidt with Washington State FBLA, and we want to thank Succession Winery for opening up this competitive event, this real world branding. We are so excited to be partnering with you, and I'm excited to see the students and advisors on the call tonight. So our purpose is for you to talk to the students, answer their questions, and give them any information that you deem is important for them as they design. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to you and let you take it away.
Great. Well, thank you guys all for your participation. We're excited about this. Can I give you guys some background? My wife, Erica, and I started Succession. We incorporated in 2015. The following year, we were fortunate enough to bring Christina on as our tasting room manager and really help us grow the business. Christina was able to get us involved with this, so I want to thank Christina for making this whole opportunity happen, because without her, that wouldn't be there. We're a small boutique winery located in Lake Chelan on the North Shore in Manson. We're doing approximately around 3,000 cases a year, given bottling and production, and we're a growing winery. We started humble beginnings with about 650 cases, and I was selling wine out of the back of my truck. And then we were able to build the tasting room and increase production, and we have continued on. We're building a new production facility that could accommodate 5,000 to 7,000 cases. So just that area right there before you have to make a bump to the next level of mass production and real distribution. So it kind of gives you an idea of size and scale. We're a very family-oriented business. We're a tight-knit team. And we've started to develop our brand. So what we're looking for is we've got a red blend that we've developed called the Bridge Builder Blend, and that's what I used to do for a living. I used to build bridges, and so what we'd like to do is take that label and, with your guys' help, and incorporate some of that history of my past and what we do now, and develop a series label. So we're going to maintain our other labels, but I would like to have kind of a label that that stands out for a red blend. This is our.
It's got a few medals hanging off of it.
It's been a good wine for us, but this is our current label. And so we'd like to take that, and we've had several different ideas, but I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. So when you're developing a label, there's certain research you guys need to do, and that means you need to get online. Any label has to be submitted to the feds, and the organization that they've put in charge of that is called the TTB. And so if you just type in TTB into Google, it'll come up, and you can find in there all the legal requirements. And you develop what's called a COLA out of that. So that's your label submission. It has to have legal requirements on it for various things that you guys will discover. One that everybody is very aware of is the government warning, the Surgeon General's warning, right? We don't like to drink when we're pregnant, right? It's basically what it says. So that's one of many things that will be pointed out to you. That's something that is like a minimum barrier to entry for any label submission in this competition. Is if it can't meet their guidelines, we can't bottle it. So it's no good to us if we can't meet that. So learn that and know it, because that's unfortunately dealing with the government, right? So if we can't check the boxes, we can't do it. So get that down. That's going to be kind of the point of review, where we can then filter out all the submissions, whether it meets that requirement or not. Then it's going to come down to the creativity. How does your label accentuate our brand? I'd go on our website. We've had a lot printed about us. We've had quite a few articles. You can do some research on us.
Our website is being updated, but you can still get a good bit of
you
what
get
you
an
need.
idea, right?
Mhm.
And go on there, maybe come up with something that we can do in series. So if you came up with 2 or 3 labels that we could do a vintage. So we had a 2019, a 2020, and a 2021 that we could hold on to these and sell them as a set. And we've got 3 different labels. That'd be pretty neat. Or maybe it's just one really excellent label. That's where your creativity and your marketing and all of those skills. Some of the things that I'm going to be looking for is how and why, right? So what really works for millennials might not work for Gen Xers or baby boomers, right? So we have a broad demographic of buyers. Our wine club is composed of all of those generations. And so we need to kind of have a broad appeal to all of them, but still fit within our branding. So I don't know, I've kind of got, that's kind of our general premise of what we're looking for. I'll kind of open it up to questions or if I've left out specifics.
Well, I would just say that realistically, so the idea of potential for 3 labels as a set, which would be indeed super cool. There's no way we could do it on our, well, no, that's not true. 2019, so it wouldn't be Bridgeville. Yeah, it would be going forward.
Everything's
right. Yep. Okay, never mind.
Scratch that.
Scratch that.
Yeah.
Couldn't be 2018s. It can be 2019s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm Maisie Copeland from Mountain View High School, and one of the questions I had was, so I was just curious as to what direction you wanted to take the design in. I heard you say vintage and stuff, and I know that really appeals to like a broad demographic of people, which sounds like a really good plan. But I was curious by what exactly you meant by that, and if you could expand further on that. So, because some of the things that I was thinking of when I was thinking bridge builder was like some bridges with grapevines and like a kind of vintage design like that. I wasn't sure if that would appeal to the overall atmosphere of your company.
Well, I think it kind of depends on how you pull that off, right? I think you'll find in your research of us and our current design and the imagery that we've got out there and reading about us, you'll learn about our brand, right? And that's what I'm curious is also some feedback based on your guys' research, whether you feel what we're putting out. But as far as the vintage goes, the vintage date in wine refers to the year of harvest. So each year we bring in another vintage of wine. So, for example, last fall, we brought in our 2018 vintage. So that's everything red and white that was harvested that year in grapes. So our white wines, our 18 whites, will be put into bottle this spring. So it's a 6-month turnaround. And we'll be bottling our 2018 white wine vintage. And a year and a half from now, we'll be putting our reds into a bottle from the 2018 harvest. We'll also at that point have our 2019 harvest in, right? So it's a year-over-year progression, but it refers to the harvest date.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And then for the government requirements, where I looked on your website, but I was just curious, where would we be able to find more information on the alcohol content, or would you rather us just leave a place for that in our design for you to fill in?
Great question. So things like the alcohol content, the vineyard designation, the blending percentages, and the AVA, which you'll find out what that is on the website. Go ahead and just use what we currently have. And if you can't find it, like an alcohol percentage, you can make it up. You can use 13.5% or something. Those are things that no matter what your design is, I have to test the wine for and make accurate. but you'll have to, so basically what I want to see from you guys is that you have it on there, right? We've allowed space for the alcohol percentage to be on the label as a placeholder, and then we change that every year.
Right. And which grapes and the percentage of each grape.
Yeah, exactly. So
Vineyards they're from.
this year we've got a couple vineyards on here, and we've got a percentage of grapes, the 3 different varietals we've got in there.
Okay. That definitely answers my question. Thank you.
I had a quick question. So for the vineyards, are they all in Washington State?
Yes. So we make all of our wines are from Washington State grown grapes. Yes.
Awesome.
And that's something that's important. We promote that. We put right on the back of our label, handmade in Washington State. We as a state are the 2nd largest producer of wine in the country, and like any underdog in sports, we've got a little chip on our shoulder about being 2nd. So we produce it better, just not as much.
Do you guys already have a set back for your wine bottle? Or are you open to like exploring, like do you have a description of what the wine is like, or?
Yeah, absolutely. So the front and back are open for moves from a style or anything perspective. Just make sure you're meeting those government requirements. As long as you can check all those boxes from a size and having all those things on there, then yeah, we're open to a complete label redesign on this bottle.
Awesome. Do you have like the information for like the front and back available like on your website? I wasn't able to find like what your current back looks like, so I could build something based off that.
Yeah, we'll check the website. If it's not there, then we can provide that.
I would say, so email me at uncorked, which is UNCORKED, at successionwines, you have that on our website, .com. And I can take pictures and shoot over to you individually, whoever is wanting that.
We'll send you a label proof from our label company.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You can see what a label proof looks like from a company.
Yeah. Perfect.
That's a lot of help. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Good questions.
I have a quick question.
Okay.
So I see that your label is more black and white and traditional.
Mhm.
Are you still wanting to go that way, or is color another option? Do you want to go more color route, or would you rather stay like a more black and white kind of rustic?
So yeah, our colors are black and white. Unfortunately, you guys can't come to the tasting room. We do have some wood incorporated and some metal features.
And cork.
Yeah, and cork. But yeah, we have a production facility and a tasting room that has an industrial clean feel. But no, we're not opposed to color. I don't know that we're going to go to a pastel look label. I'm just,
probably not.
Not to steer you in the wrong direction, right? But some color and accented appropriately is definitely something that we'd be open to.
So if you were to like pick a color like out of your preference, you would probably be more inclined to choose a design, say with like a deeper, richer color over a pastel or a neon color.
Most probably, yeah. Despite what my toddler daughters want, pink and purple are not my favorite colors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I had another question, and this kind of is building off of the color aspect of it. With the color, so from your previous designs, I'm seeing that they kind of have like a bit more bold, darker outlook on them. Do you want the designs to still kind of keep that element of more dark, like more dark and a lot more depth, or would you like something more clean and an out front design?
Well, so I want something that is going to stand out. So if this is going to be a line that we end up taking, let's say, to local distribution, when you go and stand, next time you go to the grocery store, obviously you guys can't buy wine, but go look and see how many bottles there are, right? And see what catches your eyes. It's the bottles that stand out, right? And those are the ones that most people are buying in the grocery store. They're buying things that catch their eye, and they're buying on a label because there's 900 wineries in the state, and they don't know them all. So they're going to buy what looks good to them. So we need something pleasing to the eye, but that conforms to their brand. And I would say something that is in both those things you've described are in line with our brand. So I'm not committed to one way or the other, or even a third style that you're able to come up with. If it's something that represents kind of that overall idea, but is setting us apart.
So are you guys thinking of a label that's more like computerized and like easily like copyable, or is it like a pencil sketch? Okay, like how are the labels created? Like copied or anything?
Generally, so we can recreate anything, right? So even if you, there are wineries that do watercolor that are recreated. That's obviously not more our style. But yeah, we can recreate whatever you guys want. It's not, I'm not going to choose the medium for you. Our logo is kind of that mix between of a computer generated and a little bit of splatter and, ring and whatnot. So we're kind of in that both. So it's whatever you kind of come up with that's going to be appealing. We as far as label makers and whatnot can recreate. If we hand them a hand sketch, we can recreate it. But it needs to be professional. It needs to represent our brand well. So if you can pull that off, however you do that, is great.
You want to keep your original logo also somewhere on the bottle?
Yes, so we will have that as a branding effort. It does not need to be on the front of the bottle. It doesn't need to be in the back of the bottle, but it needs to be somewhere that people can pick it up and turn it over one way or the other. And go, oh, well, that's Succession.
Awesome. And just like a bit of a more personal question, like what sort of bridges did you work on when you were designing them?
So I've worked on several around you. I don't know exactly where everybody's located, but a lot in the Puget Sound region. I helped do the light rail, 2 contracts into SeaTac. I did a bridge up in Darrington, a structural steel bridge. I worked on a floating bridge out there at the Hood Canal when I was first getting started. Redid the border crossing into Canada up in Blaine. Worked on a large precast post-stress bridge in Bremerton, the Manette Bridge. We did some freeway interchanges and whatnot, and bridges in kind of the Renton area. And then I helped work on a lot of other little projects along the way. Those are kind of some of the big ones. I had one of the 520 contracts going across the lake there. We did different bridge types, structures. So I'm not married to having exactly one of those. But yeah, so I think anything's going to kind of represent. And we want to tell a story because I'm not always there to tell the story, right? So we want the label to tell a story.
Thank you so much.
What do you certainly like not want with the label? Like the first thing you see, and you're like, nope, that's not going on our bottles.
I don't want anything that's going to be unprofessional, right? I will give you guys one hint that you probably wouldn't pick up on just the TT website. It cannot be children or promotion of alcohol to minors. So that's just something that they're really cracking down on, and that's not something. So if it looks like maybe I've seen labels that they're coming down on that look like children maybe have drawn them, right? They're cute, and they're promoting their family atmosphere, but the Liquor Control Board really doesn't like that. So I want something that's going to be professional in appearance and catch, and provide that structure, and depth and complexity and cleanness, everything we've talked about. But yeah, I don't want anything that's kind of looking like maybe somebody just kind of threw it on the weekend type deal, right?
Okay.
You can have some really nice hand drawings, right? That look professional, and professional sketches that turn into great labels. So I'm not saying don't do that. Just if you're going to do it, that's kind of that artist risk.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
You have a letter as your label right now.
Yes.
Are you open to a icon,
To a what?
or would that not be something that
One more
like
time.
an icon, like an icon, like a wine bottle on it or something?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're looking to rebrand, or the S is kind of our brand. So not that I don't want to, for lack of better terms, I'm not comparing us to Nike, but the Nike swoosh, right? They will go out and they will redo lots of different things, but that Nike swoosh is always located someplace, right? That's what our S with the circle around it's going to be. So that will maintain, but Nike represents itself in a lot of other ways. And when you see Nike ad, so kind of think about some of those things. That's we want to keep that S, but if there's another way of incorporating it, or a different way of putting Succession out there on the bottle, we're open to. And like I say, that doesn't have to, our S doesn't have to be in the front of the bottle. It could be on the back, right? If you've come up with this great representation on the front, the S could be on the back with our name.
Okay. Thank you.
So what I've been getting is that instead of making something more like a logo for this line, we're making just like a label, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So for that label, most of them have been rectangular. Are you open, or are you able to print one that might be, I don't know, circular, like for example?
Absolutely. So you can go on to some of the different label makers' websites and do some research and even call them. But yeah, we could do a total wrap. You can do printed on the bottle, right? So there's no actual paper on; it's just etched onto the bottle, and they call that screen printing. You can do multiple parts to the label. So I've seen bottles that have maybe a ring neck around the around kind of this portion here, and then maybe they've got a little strip, right? And then they've got another one down here, right? You can break it up, or it could be this size, or I've seen an entire wrap all the way around, where it comes back and it meets here, right on the back. Yeah, so it's just one label that wraps all the way around. There's lots of different ways to do it, and thinking outside the box is always kind of fun to catch people's eye.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Why is your brand called Succession?
Yes. So there's a bit of a story behind that. I used to build bridges for a living. My wife worked for Hewlett Packard, and we were just doing the corporate gig in Seattle. We were working hard, and we had a series of life events that happened. One of them being our house burned down in the Carlton Complex fire in Brewster. And so after that, it was one of those years. It wasn't like a woe is me moment. It's a time for, we're spinning our wheels here. It's a time for reflection. And so we wanted to put passions and family first. And so we set the winery in motion at that point. And one of the things about naming a business that's very difficult is finding a name that fits with you, that has meaning, but also isn't trademarked, right? Right. Nobody's going to sue you if you name your kid Johnny, right? And 6 other Johnnies, right? But people will send you a cease and desist letter if you don't do your research on a business name. So you get rummy with names. And I remember something from middle school science, and it's the ecological rebuild after a fire. And so we Googled it, and ecological succession came up. And so succession had a good name feeling from that standpoint, but it also means the natural order of things, which is really important in both bridge building and in winemaking. And we couldn't find anybody that trademarked it yet. So most importantly, it was available. Yeah.
And it made sense.
It made sense, yeah. So it's got a lot of personal meaning on our history, our current beginnings of winemaking, and the fire, of course.
And it sounds pretty cool too. So thank you.
Yeah. Do we have any other questions?
I just want to say thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Super interesting hearing about all of this. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with.
Great questions, ladies.
If we have any other questions in the future, would we just email you at that same email, uncorked@succession1s?
Perfect.
Yeah, and then to make it fair for everybody, can we share those, or is that not how it works? I don't know.
Share what?
The question and answers follow-ups. How's it?
I don't see why not, but I don't know.
Okay.
Is it up to everybody to come up with their own questions and get answers?
Is that Dawn? Is that something you're aware of?
Well, I was just trying to figure out how we would share that, not knowing email addresses for the students involved. I'm hoping there's more students that are going to be submitting labels than who are on the call. So we would have to share that somehow. I guess I could just, if I'm copied, I could compile a document with the answers and send that out in the weekly updates. We have an email that goes out every Monday, so that probably would be the easiest way.
Perfect. So
Yeah.
send it to Uncorked and CC Dawn, and then we'll get your questions answered.
And let's use not this email. I know. I want my FBLA one. So it's not letting me rename. So it would be my first name, Dawn, DAWNE, at wafbla.org.
Do you want to say hi? This is one of two.
Hi.
We've held them at bay long enough. Yeah.
Oh, and
Hi,
here's
girls.
Yeah.
a Larry bit.
So if anybody wants to babysit as well, that's good points after the competition.
Right.
I'm gonna move the computer so we can hopefully. There's Larry as well.
Oh, nice.
Dog
Who's
Larry.
Larry?
Yeah, he just laid down, but
So,
What kind of dog? What breed?
he's a Great Pyrenees.
Okay. That's what I thought. They're huge.
No, we're going.
I
Well, my time might be wrapping up here.
Yes.
So,
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? We're all good?
I have one more question, super quick. Are you two going to be some of the judges at the actual event, or will you have other representatives?
yes.
we're gonna be judges.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I might bring the toughest judge, my
I
wife,
have a quick question.
as a guest judge. Yeah. Go ahead.
what is the general shape of your wine bottles? Do you have different shapes for like red and white, or?
We do, and you should be able to see the general shapes on the website. There's images on the whites and on the reds. The reds is going to be a Bordeaux bottle, and you can Google what a Bordeaux bottle looks like. Little history on bottles. The reason why we have different bottles is because before we had all these labels, the French used to have to make different style bottles to tell what region the wine came from. And it's been tradition that it's stuck with us now. So now we have Bordeaux and we have Burgundy and different style bottles. But this is a traditional red Bordeaux bottle.
Oh,
It doesn't make the wine taste any different. Don't let anybody tell you
No.
otherwise.
okay.
All tradition.
Yeah, it's all tradition.
Yeah.
That'll be fun facts when you get to 21.
Yeah.
All right. Is anything else? Well, we sure appreciate your taking the time to talk with our members and our advisors. We appreciate that. And really excited to meet you in person at SBLC in Bellevue.
And I promise I will be more presentable when I'm not.
In your business attire, we won't recognize you.
Well, we're building a new building, and I've been out working on that, and it's like 19 degrees, and so it's been cold.
We appreciate the enthusiasm of those of you on this call and really great questions.
Yeah. I think you guys are going to come up with something fun.
I'm excited too.
It'll be great. They're so creative. It's amazing what these students can do.
Cool.
All right.
Exciting. Thank you all.
Well, thank you all for being here, and we will see you at SBLC.
Great. Wonderful. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Goodbye.